Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So today what I want to talk about is something that I'm quite passionate about and interested in, and that is the diet culture in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, before we dive into specifics, I just want to clarify what I mean by diet culture. So it's a widespread societal system that idolizes certain body types. It can kind of be the idea that being skinny or thinness is the ideal body type. For example, if we have a look at the 90s, there was a strong trend of supermodels and being skinny, like Kate Moss, Naomi Campbell, Tyra Banks. Those women were idolized as the way to be. So the skinny look was considered ideal. That trend led to some toxic labels such as heroin chic, and you can kind of tell by that within itself that that is not a healthy or ideal way to be or body type to achieve. So the idealization of extreme thinness can be very damaging. Diet culture is everywhere. It's from ads promising you quick weight loss to social conversations revolving around diets and body image. Okay, so how does diet culture intersect with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Firstly, we have weight class pressure. So in Jiu-Jitsu, people do have to compete in specific weight classes generally. And when you have to compete in a weight class, that can put pressure on you to lose weight, which can result in unhealthy practices, such as extreme dieting, dehydration, and disordered eating. Next, we have a focus on body image. BJJ, like any other combat sport, places an emphasis on physical appearance and physical ability. This can create pressure for an athlete thinking that they have to conform to a certain standard. This might not be achievable for everyone. We all have different bodies, different anatomy, biology, genetics, so this can lead to body image issues and disordered eating. Next up, we have misinformation. So misinformation about health, fitness, weight loss, XYZ is extremely rampant in today's society. Diet culture can perpetuate myths about weight loss, which can be harmful for those seeking to improve their performance. All right, so lastly, we have performance impact. So disordered eating or extreme dieting can lead to things such as poor quality of sleep, loss of menstrual cycle, low energy levels, not recovering correctly, irritable mood. There are many negative effects that extreme dieting or disordered eating in this kind of space can lead to. Okay, now that we have dissected the intertwining between Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and diet culture, I want to share my experiences within this realm. And hopefully you guys can find some relatability within my experiences and you can learn from my mistakes. So when I first started to compete, I thought, okay, I'm gonna cut weight. My set point is between 61 kilos and 63 kilos. For anyone who doesn't know what the set point is, this is the concept supported by research showing that the body has mechanisms to regulate weight and resist significant changes. For example, when you lose weight, your body may respond by slowing down your metabolism or increasing your hunger to help you regain the weight lost. Conversely, if you gain weight, your body may increase your energy expenditure or decrease your hunger to return you to your set point. So this is basically the weight that you walk around at, whether you're trying to lose weight or not. I guess you could kind of call it your maintenance, your stable weight. So I entered into the weight class under 58.5. And if we average my weight, 62 kilos, I had to lose 3.5 kilos for the competition. However, I ended up losing an additional kilo on the day. So I weighed in at 57 kilos. So being a woman that grew up in the 90s, I think many of us have some sort of disordered eating or a poor relationship with food. If I had taken that into account before competing, I would not have cut weight. I would have just competed at the weight that I was walking around at. I think that cutting weight did have it had many negative effects, and I wish I didn't do it. But this is why we compete in Jiu-Jitsu, because there's a lot of lessons, so many lessons that are shown to us during the post, during and pre areas of competing in Jiu-Jitsu. As the competition approached, I started to get some significant changes. Number one, my energy. Oh, my energy was so low. I was really struggling I was really struggling during rolls. I would gas out really quick and I wasn't recovering as well. So because I wasn't recovering as well, I couldn't get as many sessions in as to what I needed. And so when comp day came, unfortunately, I got injured in the first round. Recurring injury that has been plaguing me for a number of years. It's some sort of like intercostal strain I got from doing CrossFit using the rings. So looking back, I think that cutting weight was a mistake for me. I'm not saying this for everyone, but for me personally, cutting weight, no bueno. It affected my performance and my overall experience. I only compete in local competitions, so going forward, I will only compete at the weight that I'm walking around at. So my two biggest takeaways: number one, compete at the weight that you walk around. Depending if you're, not a professional athlete and you're just wanting to compete in local competitions, or jiu-jitsu is more of like a fun sport for you. I think when we start to talk about athletes, it's a whole different ballpark. When I talk about professional athletes, I'm talking about Craig Jones, Gordon Ryan, Fionn Davies, those kind of athletes. I'm your average jiu-jitsu hobbyist. That is really passionate. So my second takeaway is don't be scared to put on weight. And this is because in jiu-jitsu, it's a combat sport. You want to be bigger, you want to be more robust, you want to be stronger. So I highly encourage you to lift weights and eat properly. I think that the notion of being skinny is quite heavily ingrained into my paradigm. However, I don't think that being skinny is ideal in combat sports. You want to be strong, you want to be robust, you want to be resilient. And in order to achieve those kind of goals, because that's what my goal became, instead of wanting to be skinny and lean and all that sort of stuff, I changed my goals. My goals were to be strong, resilient, recover better. So because they were my goals, I had to change my thought processes and my beliefs around being strong, being athletic, being resilient and recovering well, which all kind of led to putting on weight, lifting weights, eating more food, all that sort of stuff. And then I had to coach myself, like, hey, being stronger is better for you. You want to be more robust. You love doing jiu-jitsu. It makes you so happy. So really training yourself to believe that bigger is better. And I still am battling that, or I wouldn't say battling that. I'm still integrating those parts of myself into my life. Overall, I think it's really important to prioritize your health and well-being. In the BJJ community, I've noticed that, myself included, a lot of us will continue to train when we're injured, when we know we shouldn't be. For example, I think Rosa, I'm not quite sure what her name was, dislocated her shoulder and then she competed in ADCC, I believe, when she had a dislocated shoulder. Like, crazy, right? I would not be doing that if I had a dislocated shoulder. But some of these athletes are so invested and dedicated to their cause. And I also think, which I'll have to do a whole other video on, I think a lot of people can tie their worth to jiu-jitsu, which isn't the case, right? We're so much more than jiu-jitsu. Also, cutting weight might work for some people might enjoy it, but if you do have a history of disordered eating, I probably wouldn't recommend it. Remember that your mental and physical health is more important than any competition. And something else that I think I should mention, you should probably differentiate what kind of athlete you are as well. Whether you're a local competition, just want to be a healthy athlete, or if you are a highly competitive athlete, I think that is a whole other ballpark that I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about weight cutting and dieting for intense athletes in the sport. I'm talking about the passionate hobbyist, such as myself, who really enjoys the sport and wants to compete to just get this self-development that comes from competing. And that's a whole other video that I can do on competing. You don't have to compete, but I think that there's a lot of value from competing. Thanks for listening to my story, friends. I hope that you could relate or you took at least one little piece of information away from it. If you did, please let me know, comment below. If you haven't already, subscribe, like. Bro, what the fuck? Stand-up desk. Doing all sorts of funny business. But yeah, like, subscribe, do all the business, and see you next time.